focus on Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news, topics, discussion, previews, all that kind of good stuff. I am your host, Alexis Carrillo, and tonight we have an episode, the final episode of Smackdown Live before Smackdown 1000, but we'll get to that next week. But for today, we have a pretty good episode. If you check on WWE.com's official lineup for tonight's episode of Smackdown Live. First and foremost, we have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And due to the circumstances and due to what transpired at Super Show this past Saturday in Melbourne, Australia, SmackDown Live GM Paige has made the stipulation that if Becky Lynch were to purposely disqualify herself once more, she would, in that case, lose the SmackDown Women's Championship. To which, obviously, Becky Lynch, being the heel of the feud, is not happy about it. First point that I want to make as far as this match, as far as this rivalry, as far as it pertains to this feud, I think it would be smart for WWE to focus all of the attention of SmackDown Live, all of the main events this week, and the week after, and the week after that, leading up to Evolution, focus it on Becky versus Charlotte. Number one, because fans are invested in this feud. They are genuinely interested in Becky Lynch's journey to the SmackDown Women's title, and they are genuinely interested in what happens next between her and Charlotte Flair. Even though, in terms of fan reactions, the reactions are a little bit reversed, with Becky Lynch playing the heel in WWE's playbook, but to the eyes of the fans, she is the babyface of this rivalry. And number two, you've got to put some attention on Evolution. I get it. I mentioned it yesterday. I mentioned it yesterday that now with Raw and SmackDown, they would be not just building up to Evolution, they would also be building up to Crown Jewel. They would have two events to build up towards, and that will be the case. There is no doubt in my mind that will be the case. But being that Raw is a 3-hour show, you could spend a little more time with Crown Jewel over there. Focus SmackDown Live on Evolution. And just sprinkle in the World Cup stuff and sprinkle in the Styles versus Daniel Bryan match at Crown Jewel. But everything else, focus on Evolution. You need to build up that pay-per-view. You need to make that pay-per-view feel important, so fans not only attend the event, but also watch it on the WWE Network come October 28th. Going back to the rivalry, who do I think walks out the winner here? Now, here's the thing. I believe that this feud, this rivalry, will boil over. It will end at Evolution. But will Becky Lynch still be champion, or will we have Charlotte Flair as the champion? I think there's a 10-15% chance that Charlotte Flair walks out women's champion tonight. I think there is a slight possibility she does walk out champion just to keep the rivalry going. But the end game has to be Becky Lynch still with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Because if they follow through on what happened last year at Survivor Series and you have the Raw champions face off against the SmackDown champions, I'm sure WWE does not want Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair at Survivor Series. That's a match they want for WrestleMania. So, as far as this match, I think Yeah, it's a tough prediction. I have to go with someone. I think Becky Lynch wins tonight. She retains the title. And then in the coming few weeks, Charlotte offers up one more match with any stipulation Becky Lynch wants, heading into Evolution. That's what I believe will happen. We'll just have to wait and see until later tonight. And obviously, I think this will be the main event of tonight's show. It has to be the main event of tonight's show. And last night on Raw, we had John Cena and Kurt Angle qualify for the World Cup, which will take place at Crown Jewel. I'm not sure if it's going to be just the finals or the finals and the semifinals at Crown Jewel. That hasn't been made clear yet, I think. But qualifying will continue tonight on SmackDown Live. We have the return of Jeff Hardy. He returns after that brutal Hell in a Cell match he had with Randy Orton. That whole screwdriver spot landing on the table from the roof. So he hasn't been a part of SmackDown Live ever since. Now he's returning. And it's quite interesting that his opponent for this qualifying match is the one, the only, the sadistic sociopath Samoa Joe, who has certainly has issues to deal with, not just personally, but with everyone else on the roster, because he could not get the job done. He could not become WWE Champion, and I believe that tonight Jeff Hardy might be the scapegoat. He might be Joe's new and next target, trying to blow off some of the frustration that he got from not being able to accomplish what he had in mind. And Hardy versus Joe, it's matches that we've seen in the past in Impact Wrestling. They've been good matches. Now, we're going to get more of the character progression from these two superstars, which I'm highly interested in. As far as who do I think goes into the World Cup, who do I think qualifies, who do I think wins this match, you got to give the heels some momentum. You got to give the heels some due. I think Joe wins this match. He has already lost enough momentum. You can't have him lose anymore. And Jeff Hardy is returning from an injury, yes. He needs momentum, yes. But you can also bring up the fact or the excuse that he's returning a little bit before he was 100%. Just because he is Jeff Hardy, and that's the kind of stuff that babyfaces and the charismatic Enigma does. The second World Cup qualifying match for tonight's episode of SmackDown Live, we have The Big Show. Well, it's The Big Show, and he's returning to face off against yet another sadistic opponent. And I've got to say, this version of Randy Orton has been the favorite version of Randy Orton since the most entertaining that I have ever seen him, which was in 2009 when he had the McMahons, Triple H, and John Cena with Legacy as his targets. As far as the match goes, I think it would be kind of, well, I don't want to say stupid, because if I do say stupid and the Big Show ends up winning, then I'm left as an idiot, but hey, what's new? So it would be kind of idiotic, it would be kind of stupid for me to believe that Big Show walks out with the win, so I have to go with Randy Orton qualifying for the World Cup. Like I said, you need some heels in that 8-man tournament. And as far as the entire World Cup idea that WWE has implemented in, it seems to be more of a catering to the sponsor of these shows in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia than whatever WWE is planning. I don't think they ever had the World Cup in their plans, because if anything, the most famous tournament and one that they should bring back is King of the Ring. But if you've read news and reports online, tournaments aren't a big deal for Vince McMahon if you choose to believe those reports. So, and given the fact that tournaments haven't really been taking place, they haven't really been at the forefront, I think that's something that can be attested to. And finally, we have yet another episode of Miz TV. The Miz hosting against, well, not hosting, with his guests, the WWE Champion AJ Styles, and the man who beat The Miz at Super Showdown for the #1 contendership for the WWE title, Daniel Bryan. This will be interesting because I believed The Miz would win that match, and we would have The Miz challenging AJ Styles for the WWE title. And, sure enough, they would have a Miz TV segment between them, amongst them, AJ Styles and The Miz. Things changed. Daniel Bryan got the win. Now we've got this whole three-man segment with Miz TV. And I think there is a slight possibility that The Miz might be added into the match in the coming weeks. I think that would be the best play. And I know, a lot of you fans are yelling at me, what? You don't want Styles versus Daniel Bryan? Yes, I do want Styles versus Daniel Bryan, but I think adding The Miz into the match adds more to the story between The Miz and Daniel Bryan, and I think The Miz should be WWE Champion in the coming months leading into WrestleMania and having Daniel Bryan challenge him at the grandest stage of them all. That's what I believe. Okay, that's what I see happening in this feud. But anyway, this is lined up to be a great SmackDown show. It was a great episode of Monday Night Raw last night, and SmackDown 1000 is coming, so we've got a good line of consecutive good to great WWE shows coming up. So right now it's a good time to be watching WWE TV. So anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comment section below. Leave me your thoughts. What do you think of tonight's episode of SmackDown Live? And do you agree with me on this whole triple threat match for the WWE title at Crown Jewel? If you follow wrestling news, topics, discussion, previews, all that kind of good stuff, consider subscribing. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. And leave me a comment. What could I have done better? You know, constructive criticism helps this channel and myself grow. I'll be grateful if you leave me those comments on the comment section below. That's it for me. Till next time.